Hi, welcome to the first video for the Parent Resource Group from Awakenings Counseling. My name is Emily Gary, and I'm going to be hosting these weekly videos as well as discussion groups based on therapeutic activities that you can do with your kids. A little bit of background information about me: I used to be an in-home counselor, and so I've got a lot of experience in working with kids and helping them to work on their mental health. So I wanted to share the information and ideas that I have with all of you. The idea here is that I'm going to post a video each week on Thursdays, and that way you can watch it on your own time, and then we'll have a weekly discussion group on Wednesday afternoons about how the activities from that week's video went for you. Talk about, what went well, what didn't go so well, maybe tweaks that you made to the different activities, and ideas you have for moving forward. My goal here is for us to be doing activities that are not only fun for kids, but also are really beneficial for their mental health, and give parents strategies for being able to implement that moving forward. The theme for this week is mindfulness. Mindfulness is something that can be really beneficial in a lot of different ways. I think that a lot of people, when they hear mindfulness, they immediately think meditation, but it actually goes well beyond just meditation. Mindfulness is much more about being aware of ourselves and what's going on around us in the present moment. And it can be especially beneficial for kids, just in terms of helping them to regulate their emotions and be in tune with what's going on within themselves. But it's beneficial for people of all ages. I mean, there are studies that show that it helps to reduce stress, it helps people sleep better, helps to manage anxiety. Overall, there are a lot of mental health benefits of mindfulness. And so today I'm going to talk about 3 different things that you can do to help kids practice mindfulness. And these can be beneficial for parents as well. So the first activity that I'm going to talk about is called a 5-4-3-2-1 mindfulness walk. This is something that we typically do outside, just so that kids have a chance to go out into nature and experience things and, get some of that fresh air and exercise time that they definitely need, especially during this quarantine. The way that the 5-4-3-2-1 mindfulness walk works is you take kids out on a walk somewhere outdoors and you have them paying attention to their surroundings. And then at a certain point, you have them stop and think about what's going on around them. And so they use their senses and they talk about their senses to discuss 5 things that they see, 4 things that they feel, 3 things that they hear, 2 things they smell, and 1 thing they taste. And if they can't find something they taste, they can say something they like about themselves. So in a minute, I will have a video that shows me doing a mindfulness walk, just to set an example about what it looks like. I think something important to keep in mind when doing these mindfulness walks is that it's something that if you want to continue to practice, you could do this multiple times on one walk. You could, stop every 10 minutes or so and have the kids think about the 5-4-3-2-1, or you can just get their feet wet by starting with just doing it once during a walk. So when you find a place to stop, then you get ready for your mindfulness activity. So I would recommend just taking a moment to take it all in, being really aware of your surroundings, and then we're going to go through the senses, going from what there are the most of down to what there might be the least of in terms of what you can be aware of in that moment. So going from what you can see, then to what you can feel, what you can hear, what you can smell, and then what you can taste. And so we're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, 5 things that I can see. I guess first of all would be all the trees around me. Second, leaves on the ground. Third, I can see my dog walking over there. Fourth, I see the lake behind me. And fifth, let's look little, I do see some acorn tops on the ground. So those are the things that I can see. Next would be things I can feel. First of all, I feel the sunshine beating down on my face. I feel the tree that I'm sitting on under me. I can feel my pants are a little bit wet from the lake, from my dog splashing in the lake, so I feel sort of the cold air on me. And a fourth thing that I can feel
I'm going to go with an emotion. I feel happy. 3 things that you can hear. I can hear cars in the background. I can hear the wind on the leaves in the trees. And I can hear some bugs buzzing. 2 things that I can smell. You can kind of get a smell of the lake water around here. And then you get sort of just an earthy, woodsy smell also. And then 1 thing I can taste. I mean, I don't think I can really taste anything. Sometimes it's helpful if kids have, gum or something like that they're chewing on. So instead, I'm going to say something that I like about myself, and I like that I'm the kind of person who goes out into the woods and does this kind of thing. I really enjoy nature, and that's something really fun, and it's something that I like about myself. So that's our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mindfulness activity. Like I was saying, you can do it multiple times along a walk, or you can choose just one time to do it. And this is actually what we call a grounding technique. It can get people to snap out of anxiety and help them be more focused in the moment. But it's also just a fun thing to practice with kids so that they are learning to be present. All right, take care. The next mindful activity that I'm going to recommend is an outdoor scavenger hunt. So for this one, you need a few supplies to start off with. You're going to need a piece of paper, something to draw with, something colorful, so crayons, pencils, colored markers, something along those lines. And you're going to want to have some kind of clear tape to take with you on the walk. So what you're going to do to start off is you're going to draw different patches of color on the piece of paper. I recommend using natural colors as much as possible. So I think I might have actually gone a little bit too far with using this bright blue because that's a pretty hard one to find in nature. Same with this red, depending on the time of year. But choose things that kids are likely to find in nature color-wise, and put these patches down on the piece of paper. Make sure you're spacing them out a little bit. And then you're going to go on a walk and have the kids be mindful of what's around them. Have them be paying attention to what they see out there in nature. And when they find things that match the colors that you have on the sheet of paper, then they take them and they use the tape and tape them down. So that the ultimate goal is to have something along these lines where they've got all these different little pieces of, different pieces of nature, I guess, that they've found along the way. A few recommendations I have for this. So first of all, I believe in leaving no trace when you go out into nature. So try to do this on your own property. Like if you have a backyard, or if you're lucky enough to have trails outside or something like that. Just make sure that you're not doing this in a public place such as, a botanical garden or something like that, where, you don't want to be taking flowers away from everybody else to be able to enjoy and all of that. Something else that you can do if you don't have access to a place like that is, instead of taping things down onto the piece of paper, you can actually just take pictures of them. So let kids use your phone to take pictures and, still have some kind of goal, I guess, for them in terms of, what do we want to find. You can be really creative in terms of what you want to help them to find on this scavenger hunt. The ultimate purpose of this, though, is for it to be about mindfulness. So it's really not about them being able to find, all of the colors on the sheet or anything like that. It's for them to be able to be aware of their surroundings. So if there is a color that they're not able to find out there, maybe do some education on that. Like talk about why certain colors are less you're less likely to see those out in nature and things like that. And you can also take this a step further in terms of education and help them learn about the different things that they found. So pine needles, look into pine needles, let them learn a little bit about that. So it ends up being something that helps them practice mindfulness, but also maybe gets their brains going and gets them learning a little bit as well. So the final activity I have for today is doing a gratitude journal. So gratitude, practicing being thankful and just stopping to think about what it is that you appreciate in your life, what it is that you're thankful for, has been shown to actually lead to better mental health outcomes. It helps people to just feel happier. And the hope with this, as I have with all of these activities, is that this is something that kids can practice when they're young and it becomes second nature for them as adults.
So the way that we would do this with kids is keeping some kind of journal. I know I'm trying to, make these activities be something that can work for kids from probably about ages 3 to at least 10, maybe 12 or so. So kids might not necessarily be able to write down in a journal, oh, this is what I'm grateful for this day, this is what I'm grateful for that day. And so instead, having them draw it. So every day, towards the end of the day, asking them to draw something that they're thankful for that day, or something that they really enjoyed that day, something that made them happy that day. And then you collect it together so that they have this journal of, okay, what are these things that I'm thankful for? What are these things that might have been small one day, but it turns out that over time it, continues to have an impact, and it's something that they continue to be thankful for. And having that so that they're able to reflect on it at times they're feeling down, at times that they feel, like things are not going so well, letting them reflect on that gratitude journal and think about, oh yeah, there are these great things in my life that I have been able to reflect on and that I have, recognized the importance of in the past. So that's the final activity that I have in terms of suggestions for mindfulness. Something that I'm going to suggest just in terms of using apps to help kids with this. So I know I mentioned earlier that meditation is one of the things that we tend to think about with mindfulness. And I do see a lot of benefits in meditation. It's something that really does help people, especially if they practice it over time, to just reduce their stress and help them be calmer and all kinds of good things. It's a little bit tougher to do with kids in some ways, just in terms of having them sit still and all of that. However, there are a lot of great apps and videos that can help you with this, and they are geared towards kids, so they take into account the fact that this isn't as easy for kids. One of the things that I recommend is what's called progressive muscle relaxation, where it really helps people to be in tune with their bodies, be in their bodies in the moment. And there are a lot of muscle relaxation videos out there for kids. So helping them be aware of, okay, let's start by wiggling our toes, and then we move up to our ankles and we wiggle our ankles and all of that. It is mindfulness. It doesn't seem like it because it's still active, but it is helping kids to be mindful of what's going on for them there in the moment and being within their bodies and feeling those sensations. And so that's one that I think works great for kids, especially just in terms of helping them snap out of, whatever it is that's going on for them externally and helping them be more aware of the internal and what's happening there. Specific apps to recommend. There's one called Headspace that you can get a free version of, and they do have different meditations for kids. But I actually also just recommend looking up on YouTube. Always with YouTube, make sure that you see it first, just to make sure that there's nothing in there that's not acceptable for kids content wise. But if you just type in, progressive muscle relaxation kids, or mindfulness kids, meditation kids, there are a lot of great things out there that can be really enjoyable. And the more you practice it, the better you get at it, whether you're an adult or a kid. So trying to do more of that until it becomes second nature. Thanks, and I will talk to you during the video session.